Fore Please.
Oh, what a shot. Oh, yes.
Have you seen anything like that?
Fore Please. Now driving.
Rosie, Bryson, Rory, Scottie. The leaderboard is stacked with stars at the top in the 89th Masters Tournament, with 2 rounds to play before someone walks into history, or walks into history again. After the second round, the leaders detailed their respective performances.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's the company that I expect to keep, and that's where I have tried to be my whole career, and that's where I've been for a lot of my career. So I've been top 10 player in the world for a decade or more. So yeah, it's just nice to obviously be back in that mix, 100%.
I've been really proud of how resilient I've been the whole way throughout my career, and I think today was just another example of that.
Well, here is the moment for Rory McIlroy. Gets Rory. How about the second 9?
I mean, I'd always say to win, it takes a little bit of luck and a great amount of skill set. I feel like my skill set's the same, if not a little bit better in certain aspects. I'm just going to give it my absolute best, and whatever happens, happens, and I'm okay with whatever does happen, because ultimately it's not everything, but it would be amazing to win. It's just continue to keep putting myself in positions like this. So that's really all I can say.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fore Please Now Driving, the official Masters podcast. I'm your host, Marty Smith. Corey Connors also sits at 6 under par as they enter moving day Saturday. And sitting at T5, 2-time and defending Masters champion Scottie Scheffler, 2019 Open champion Shane Lowry, Terrell Hatton, and Matt McCarty, all at 5 under. 53 players made the weekend, but Bernhard Langer, the great 2-time champion here at Augusta, who joined us earlier in the week, missed the cut by just 1 stroke in his 41st and final Masters appearance.
The legend of Bernhard Langer, who will live forever at Augusta. To win on that day, as Chairman Fred Ridley is there to salute one of the great players in the history of this tournament.
For more on Friday's second round, it's nice to welcome PGA Tour broadcaster and 3-time collegiate All-American Mark Immelman, whose younger brother Trevor won the 2008 Masters. Mark, let's start today just with the conditions. They were pretty brutal. Gusting winds, you could see a lot of guys really struggling. What impact do you think that had on the general performance today of the players?
Well, performance-wise, it gets so hard when the conditions are gusty and difficult because as the wind is in and out, it's hard to really commit to any sort of club selection. Like if you got something consistent wind-wise, you can go with it, you can play a shot, you can be somewhat convinced. But when you're unsure, then you've always got to kind of got your foot on the pedal a little bit, if you will, and on the handbrake because you're just not sure. And when at Augusta National, with these fine margins on either side of the target, just one slight miss and all of a sudden you're going to have your hands full kind of deal. So guys playing with trepidation, the firmness of the golf course made it really, really hard. And then, the specter of the whole thing, the Masters, is looming over you because the prize at the end of all of it is so grandiose and grandeur. So you don't want to make a silly mistake. And so you always like attack or defend. And a lot of defense was played today out there.
I love to hear you discuss how grandiose the stage is. These gentlemen try so hard to convince themselves that it's just another golf tournament. But to me, that's laughable. I think that energy hangs over every single player's performance. I don't necessarily, except maybe Scottie Scheffler. I don't necessarily care that they say that. I don't know that they feel that.
You know what, you try and convince yourself, or they try and convince themselves, but just coming to Augusta National as a fan, as a patron, is a treat. People dream of coming here. I'm from South Africa. It was a dream just to get here. And for me to get to be a part of the Amen Corner coverage, it's beyond my wildest dreams. So for someone in the field playing in the Masters, you've reached a level that very few folks are going to get to. And then at the end of it, a major championship is one thing, but the Masters, that's entirely another. So no, you don't really put it out of your mind. You try, but it's always there. And then if you've managed to do that, Marty, then you get to a hole like 11 or 12, Amen Corner, or, the iconic holes around this golf course. And then you're reminded. So you have to continually pull yourself back to the job at hand and try and just keep every shot the shot. But it is the Masters. That's the reality.
It really is a wonderful skill that is, in most people's cases, learned through time, through triumph, through failure, through joy, through hurt, to find the ability to compartmentalize in that way, because not everybody's built like that.
No, well, that's where Scottie is kind of a masterclass.
Agree.
And in many ways, if you watch him go about his craft, he's Tiger-esque in a way, because Tiger Woods was the master at getting into his own personal bubble, staying in there, showing you emotion, then coming right back out and being ready for the next shot. So Scheffler has figured it out because he has priorities in order. It's like faith, family, golf. But for most golfers, again, this is an incredible tournament, incredible prize, and you can put the cart in front of the horse. So it's a skill. It's a mental skill. I think it's learned. But being around my brother who's won this thing, it's a tough, tough challenge. It really is.
I can't wait to talk to you about that in a minute.
All right. I'm ready.
Let's discuss Rory first. That is someone who this has hung over him for a very long time. His 17th appearance here in the Masters tournament. Thursday on the second 9 did not go as he'd hoped. Bogey 15, bogey 17. He's 4 under on the fairway on 15. And he goes home at even par. It's one of those moments where many people might fold. Many people might struggle under that pressure that comes with knowing I was right there and I let it slip. And then he comes back today and has one of the most fantastic second 9 performances you could fathom to sit at 6 under par, leaving the golf course on Friday. What do you make of Rory's rebound?
Well, I want to take you back to a conversation I had with him first Pebble Beach, Saturday, the round he played there en route to the victory in horrid conditions. I was out on the course with him, and he played a different round to what he normally does, because McIlroy is like Secretariat. The guy has got generational gifts. And so as a result, he would run to the front, and if things were going well, he'd dust fields by 8, 9, 10. We've seen him do that. But to draw the comparison, if Secretariat got boxed in, NASCAR reference kind of deal, then you're bustling around the place and it gets hard. And Rory now has learned at Pebble to sort of hit the off-speed shot, to play the smart shot. He's referenced that saying, I want to play more like Scottie. Kind of just do the smart stuff, position myself a little bit for the open air eventually. And that 64 or 5 he shot in bad conditions was different, because ordinarily Rory is not really a bad weather guy. And then he gets to the Players' Championship. I was there. And the first day he shoots 67 with nothing. Not even his B game. Very much like Tiger. Remember Woods? I didn't have my A game today kind of thing, and then he'd still win. And so I saw Rory beginning to be able to play that game where he doesn't need his best stuff to compete. So to all of that, yesterday, he looked sensational for 14 holes.
He did.
Honestly, hit just 2 bad shots. And not bad physically, more bad shot selection-wise. Like behind 15, you don't go after that front flag. Anyhow, he does, makes double. 17 was sort of unfortunate, but to turn around today and to come out with the honesty of where he was, recognizing, okay, I misstep, but it's okay, another day today, because old Rory would have hung the shoulders and over-attacked. But he didn't. He played smart, he took his chances, and then all of that, you could see this crescendo building. It was like percolating, if you will. The same stuff as Thursday. but he just finished it off today. And I feel like the misstep maybe Thursday was actually, in a weird way, a good thing for him, because he's playing now with the chaser's freedom a little bit. Because if he had played into the lead, all of a sudden there's all the questions, and now he's got the target on the back, besides the Grand Slam and the green jacket. So in a weird way, I think it's good, but it was an honest performance. It was a lot of resolve, but he's playing beautifully, and I feel like he's respecting the Augusta National Golf Club, the course, for what it gives you, because it gives and it takes away. And you can't bludgeon this place to death. You have to play smartly, and he has, and he's playing beautifully.
And to your point, as our listeners and viewers heard earlier, he believes that this is a keen reminder of the resilience that he's built through time.
Mm.
And I believe there's so much currency in that, Mark. I think that when you failure is such a beautiful lesson. It's hard to see in the moment because the emotion is so acute.
Mm-hmm.
But once the emotion ebbs, you are stronger. And I really see that in him. I think that freedom that you speak with which he can play, combined with that resilience, could be a very special thing.
Yeah, well, you know the drill, like fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Yep.
And he, after the U.S. Open misstep, said, I'll take another 1,000 of these or whatever, and I paraphrase. I'll give up another 1,000 tournaments just to get one more. So he's in that mindset to say, okay, I've got a shot now. And I've failed a few times, but every time I've failed, it's like, take something from this and then onward. And he's coming out of this better. And I think he's aware of who he is. I think he's very aware of his place in the game, because there's all that stuff going on too. And as a result, he's like, okay, win or lose, I'm still generational. I'm still a Hall of Famer going to be. And I'm okay with who I am. And if I get this, well, then there's a very select fraternity I get to join.
You mentioned that U.S. Open. It was Bryson DeChambeau who took advantage of some of Rory's missteps there at Pinehurst. He, too, was tremendous on Friday here at the 89th Masters. What stood out to you about his performance?
The physical stuff aside, the long drives, the showmanship, and that, again, it's in a way like Rory, where he's comfortable with who he is now. Because you know Bryson from back in the day, you know, who was the talented, smart, thinking kid who came out that was sort of bristly a little bit and didn't take to criticism very well. But now he's like, man, this is me. I'm Bryson. Some people love me, some people hate me, but either way, I'm going to love you right back. And he's playing with a real freedom. And when he first came to the Augusta National in the Masters, after all the power and the bulk that he built up, he's like, this place is a par 67 for me, or whatever he said. It's kind of dangerous to say. And he played that way, but now he's learned how to play the golf course. And it's just like he's playing the game like a child. He's like, see ball, hit the right shot, have some fun, interact with the crowds. Most players, you'll see him signing autographs on the way to the practice facility and back. So he's just relishing every moment. And there's a glorious kind of a freedom in that. Now, as we get closer to the finish line, who knows how it's going to be. But he's playing with house money in a way, or at least he's acting that way.
I feel like he's had the most dramatic 180-degree turn in image I can remember other than Snoop Dogg.
Hadn't seen that comparison coming, but yeah, I'm with you. I am so with you.
It's amazing to go from someone that people almost roll their eyes at to a degree to someone that has become the most lovable star in the game.
But you know what? You're right. Initially, people were sort of had their reservations because they're like, this is just an act. But he's authentically Bryson right now. And you speak of that U.S. Open. When he took the U.S. Open trophy out to the fans and folks were swamping him and touching the trophy and stuff, I was like, he's all in. This is for real now. And because it's for real, I feel like that's why he can take it further. Because now as more and more fans love him, it's like he is, the fuel he's getting from them is like adrenaline. Yep. So it's very cool to watch how, you're right, it's 180, but it's authentically 180.
I've always appreciated him. I've known him for many years now, and I've always appreciated him. But I do there's something so beautiful about when someone finds themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely sense that with Bryson, that he's found this person that he's completely comfortable with, that he wants to challenge because of that comfort. And with that comes that freedom you mentioned. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm wondering because, you know, his father was ill and passed away, and I'm sure he's giving some of that sort of spiritual credence or respect to that as well, because he's like, well, I don't just want to be a good golfer, I want to be a great son. And there's these legacy moves on the way too. So yeah, it's fun to watch. I hate to go here, but it's sad we only get to see him a few weeks a year. But you know, maybe that changes in the future. But all the same, when he's around, he's a star, and the people love him, and he adds to the value of all the events he plays in.
Okay, I'm looking on the Masters app as we chat. Scottie finished at 5 under. He's T5.
Okay.
Shot 1 under today. He's just Mr. Consistency. When he's in a bad place on 12. On 12, he flew the green.
That was he did Houdini stuff over there.
And it just beyond comprehension for me, Mark. I don't get it. And then he reacts like he's, you know, just checked out at the Target. It's unbelievable.
It's a masterclass what he does mentally. And the term I would use would be like he's relentless. He just keeps coming. He gets knocked down and he gets right back up. He like bounces back. And then he makes a mistake there on 11 with a bogey. In 12, he blasts one over the back of the green, gets lucky, but then right there, pitches it right into the hole, and all of a sudden he's back in it. Then he hits it in the water on the 13th, the par 5 on the right side of the green, and drops the ball, pitches it right up there to a few feet, makes the save, and he just keeps coming. And because of that, like a Tiger Woods, like a Jack Nicklaus, like the greats of old, where when the name goes up on the leaderboard, everyone around there knows, well, that guy's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And when there's a guy who is going to be relentless and continually there, he puts pressure on you without even hitting a shot. And that's the one thing Scheffler does. So, look, if you want to win this, you've got to stay in front of you have to stay in front of Scottie Scheffler, no doubt.
Before I get you out of here, and we got to chat about Trevor's amazing Masters Championship.
You're making me cry. No crying now. Huh?
I want you to cry.
Right.
That's like the holy grail for me.
All right.
We haven't even discussed Rosie yet. Justin Rose, another very steady round, finishes the day at 1 under. He's at 8 for the tournament. And that's a gentleman who, too, there's a theme here. There's a lot of freedom we've discussed. I sense that from Justin as well. What's your thought?
He's just thoroughly professional. So much experience, so much wisdom, so many lessons learned along the way. And he's paid his dues around the Augusta National Golf Club. And he's been in this position before, so he knows what it feels like. And the really cool thing about the Masters and this golf course is the stories like the Sergio Garcia, or, you know, you have the legends who make the cut. They're always those storylines. And there is this element of me that feels like maybe this is Justin's time. It's not going to be easy sledding because he's got like thoroughbreds in behind him. But yeah, he's playing beautifully. He's professional. He won't make a mental error. I think if he fails, it's because of something physical or, you know, Father Time is sort of unbeaten, and this is a big golf course to walk over 4 days. So who knows? But he's in great shape. He works hard on himself. He's evergreen. He'll be around.
How did Trevor's Masters Championship impact your family?
It was an inflection point, to be honest. It is the most prestigious golf tournament in the world. I don't care what anyone in the world says. And the green jacket transcends sports. It transcends everything. And so for a young South African kid to win this event and to follow in the footsteps of giants it was a turning point for our family. It introduced Trevor to the world. And then by extension, myself and my dad and my mom and my sister and extended family. So it was kind of biblical in a way, what happened. And still to this day, I pinch myself because the entire experience was completely surreal to this day, you can't believe that it actually happened and how hard it was. Even though he led all 4 days, the final day, Marty, the weather was ghastly, man. These loblolly pines were waving around in the air. It was blowing. It was cold. He had a 2-stroke lead. There were all comers, including Tiger Woods, coming at him. And in the end, it was pure grit and resilience. And Gary Player the night before had said, look, you're playing well, but there's going to be some adverse times. You've got to be a big boy tomorrow. And he stepped up and took it. Shot 75, get that, in the final round and increased his lead by 1.
Wow.
That's how hard it was. So for our family, it was something you'll never forget.
What do you remember about the first moment you saw him after that? What was the conversation and the embrace?
There were a lot of tears. I remember afterwards, after the function in the evening, we're walking out here and it's dark and there's this beautiful lighting as we make our way to the parking lot, the players' parking area. And it's myself and him and my wife and his wife. And I think my parents were there. And he had the jacket on, and he looked at me and said, I'll let you try this on, but we can't do this here. So at the house later, I got to put on the jacket as we just as a family decompressed. And this was late in the evening, and, you know, this has happened, and the adrenaline is so high, and your heart is still pumping. And we sat there and talked about the day until like 2 a.m. in the morning. And then he had the media tour to New York at like 6 a.m. So it's like it happened yesterday. And it's just special. I don't have words to describe something so momentous.
How'd your parents react? When that's I'm a parent. You want to do well for yourself. Yeah. You want to achieve. You want to overcome. But there's nothing more in the world that you want than to see your own children exceed everyone's expectations. And in that moment, it's the absolute top of the mountain for your family and your surname, and the world knows your surname.
There was pride naturally for my dad. My mom was kind of like a mom, sort of tearful and stuff. And I remember, because the weather was so cold and nasty and we were sort of muddy and wet, and we came in and there was this function afterwards, and we invited into, I believe it was the Eisenhower cabin, for like cocktails before the Butler cabin, while he was doing media in the Butler cabin ceremony. And I remember the group of us standing there sort of feeling out of place a little bit because we're off the golf course and just making sure we don't do the wrong thing, you know, because there's this pride and it's like, wow, our kids just won this tournament, but you need to still behave yourself over there, Mark. So there were still parents through it all.
That's great.
But it was a really cool experience, and just reminiscing about it is heartwarming as well.
I'm so grateful for your time. Thank you, brother.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Just so nice to spend this time with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate you.
As he told me good evening Friday, Mark admitted to me he was on the verge of tears, discussing the impact of Trevor's victory here. Even 17 years later, the emotion still overwhelms. Unfortunately, Keegan Bradley was among those who missed the cut. For Keegan, it was the first time in 6 years. Earlier this week, he was kind enough to let me tag along as he played the par 4, 350-yard Flowering Peach, the third hole here at Augusta National. How is the mindset different coming here than it might be somewhere else, even another major championship?
Yeah, well, here, when you come here, everyone wants to, your whole family wants to come. They want to experience it. Everyone's having a great time but you, because you're nervous. And, but it's really a fun time because it is a time of the year where our whole family comes together. We come to the par 3 tournament tomorrow. I brought my oldest son Logan to the range last night. We were trying to hit 115 to get it over he's here.
Over on 2. I just saw you run over and embrace it.
Yeah, so it's fun, but you know, this is a stressful week for all of us because what's at stake here is life altering. And that's what's so great about it.
Another thing about this golf course is people at home watching
can't see the fact that we're walking up and both of us are now out of
Out of
breath while
yeah.
we're trying to talk.
Yeah, one of the most shocking things when you come to Augusta is just how hilly it is. I mean, the shot down 10 is like one of the biggest we play, and then the shot up 18 is almost just as hilly. But yeah, it's a big walk, so you have to manage. It's really easy to spend hours and hours out here, and you got to just manage your energy.
Okay, so taking a look at your second shot. How do you expect you guys will attack this?
Yeah, so when the pin's over to the left, I like to lay back because this is a tough little pitch to that front left pin. But how far do we got, Scotty?
73 yards.
73 yards. Green slopes pretty good right to left, so I have to probably land this 6 short and to the right of the flag because it'll kick down towards it. The one thing you just can't do is leave it short here.
Yep.
That you're bringing 6 into play.
You're up.
73?
Yeah, 61 front, so you've got 12 yards in between.
Oh,
Get in the hole.
I think it's a little short. That landed soft. I won't be that soft in the tournament.
One of the things that Bobby Jones always used to say about the second shot here on 3 was how difficult it is to gauge the distance. I know you have help, but what is your experience in that difficulty?
Yeah, well, one of the things at Augusta too is the wind really swirls in these pine trees, and like the viewers at home can't tell that we can't see the green. So you have to be so precise with your shots at Augusta. And like I said, my shot is 2 feet shorter, comes down that hill, I'm in deep trouble. So you're really just trying to get this on the green, but this is a hole you can make 3 on. So you want to play it as good, as best as you can.
Keegan is a great man. I cannot wait to watch him as the Ryder Cup captain in New York in September. That's all for us here on Friday at Augusta. Saturday, we'll be joined by Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence, who won a national championship at Clemson. Saturday is moving day, and there's no telling what the story might be in 24 hours. For everyone here at Fore Please Now Driving, I'm your host, Marty Smith. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. It's an honor to be with you every day. We'll see you Saturday evening. Be well.